I just have like a little question, like who is Gen Z in here? Like who is from, okay, there are a few. I don't feel alone. Okay, cool. That was got nothing to do with my speech. I just wanted to know that I'm not alone in here. Okay, so when I was invited for this talk, I asked myself one thing. My question to myself was, when did I become a change maker? Because I'm 23. And it's like, I don't know, like there was always something inside of me that always wanted to change something. And I really asked myself, when did that happen? When did that shift happen? Now, my journey led me all the way back to 5th or 6th grade. I don't really remember if it was 5th or 6th, but I know I was like 10, 11, and I think it was one of my first years in Germany. So a little background, I was born in Ghana, raised in Ghana, and when I was 10, almost 11, I moved to Germany. Now, I remember it was this geography class, and in geography class, we were doing Africa, one of the African countries. I don't remember which one exactly, but in the end, it was talked about as if all the countries were the same anyways. So we were doing Africa, and I remember very clearly that we had this book, we opened the book, and there were pictures of Africa. Pictures of Africa in the way that we normally know Africa from the Western perspective. Slums, dirt, disease, poverty. And that moment really shocked me because that was not the Africa I knew at all. So I just said I grew up in Ghana till I was 11, and my childhood was pretty amazing. So I went to a private British school. I used to go to the mall every Saturday. I used to go to the cinema. I knew the gated communities. I knew a clean world. The picture I had of Africa had nothing to do with the picture that was shown in my book. Now, at some point, I got older and I realized one thing. I realized that the picture I had of Africa and the picture that the Western world of Africa had was a single story. My favorite author, Tima, talks about a single story and how it's dangerous to have a single story because the single story puts people in boxes and puts people in stereotypes. So the Western world had a picture of Africa full of poverty, hunger, death, crisis, and that was a single story, a wrong single story, an incomplete picture. But I also had a single story. My single story of Africa, but I was 11, by the way. My single story of Africa was a very idealistic one where there was no poverty, where I had a happy childhood, and I really didn't know that the situation was that bad. And that's when I believe I became a change maker. It was that one geography lesson that made me a change maker because from that day onward, I had a mission in school. I had a mission, and I know that for a fact that everyone who was in the same class as I was knew two things. One, Africa was not a country. And two, that Africa had two sides. The one they see in the media and the other side, the side that I knew growing up. And that's the moment, and in that little way, I became a change maker. Now, fast forward to 2021, my first year of uni, that almost took me out. I went back to Ghana and I wanted to start an NGO. Now, I had a little money. I had a lot of love to give in my heart, and I had a very unclear vision about how that NGO was going to look like. But I thought the most important thing I had was a lot of love to give. And I thought that was enough. So I went to Ghana at 19 years old, and I went to the first school, and I tried to pitch my idea, and I wanted to help. And I don't know, from my perspective, I thought if someone wants to help, you accept the help, right? So I went to that school, and they told me no. They told me, no, we don't need your help. And now, looking back, I was very shocked that they didn't need my help because I saw the state of the school, and to me, they obviously needed help. But the mistake I made as a change maker in that moment was that I had an idea of what change was supposed to look like for them. And in my Western perspective, because I was socialized in Germany, I thought that I knew better. I thought that I knew exactly what they needed, and I came with a solution without asking them exactly what they needed and what they thought the solution to their problem was. And to be fair, the school was also very tired of NGOs coming, taking pictures, and never coming back. So they told me no. And that was the moment that changed my brain chemistry when it comes to the work I wanted to do. I wanted to help people, not help people in the way I thought they needed help, but assist people to become the best versions of themselves, how they think they need help. So for my next school, I decided to be authentic. I decided to go to them not as the 19-year-old girl who knew everything and had all the answers, but as the 19-year-old girl, and that was the truth actually, who had no idea what she was doing. And that was my strategy, and it worked. It worked. So my first school was in the eastern region of Ghana. We went there and I just had conversation. I spoke to the people eyeball to eyeball, and I had conversations with them, and I made them understand that I'm not here to give you your solutions. These are people who live the realities. They know what they need. I can come from Germany thinking I know it all and give them the solutions. And that really, really worked. Now, what that was so interesting about being there was that we went to the classes, we spoke to the girls. So I have an NGO that focuses on girl education. And I remember one of our beneficiaries, she is now, when we went, she was in 7th grade, and she is now almost about to finish, I think in Germany, you'll be her Abitur, her A-levels. And I remember the school was in a bad shape. They barely had tables and chairs. And I asked her, Emanuela, what do you guys need in this school? And she was like, we need computers. And in my mind, I was like, you barely have tables. But Emanuela changed something in me because she was looking beyond. Because I thought they needed tables and chairs, but she had the bigger picture. And today, what I want to charge you is that we all, in our own right, are change makers. You are a change maker. I am a change maker. And Emanuela, in her school, also was a change maker. She was thinking big. She had big visions, and no, we didn't get her computers because they didn't need that at that point in time. But as you can see later, we actually got the computer room because she, in her school, was a change maker. Now, I just spoke to you about the fact that I went to that school being very authentic, telling them that I don't know what I'm doing, but I just want to help. I have a lot of love to give. How can I help you? And that worked really, really well. So over the course of the years, we've been able to help 15 girls through 7th grade up until their final exam. We've been able to build a computer room. We've had numerous workshops with young girls. My favorite topic to talk to the girls about is a lady on a mission, why education is important as a young woman. And we are currently renovating a kindergarten, so we've been able to do a lot over the past 4 years. Now, that was just me being authentic. That was just me winging it as a university student, having no idea exactly what I'm doing, but for some reason, it worked. Now, on a random day in February, I came across an Instagram post about the Miss Germany competition, and I think I saw it a couple of times on my feed, and I always skipped it because I was like, I actually hate cameras. I don't like taking pictures. I'm very awkward. It was definitely nothing for me. But then it kept showing up on my feed, and then I decided to just take a look at it and find out, okay, what this thing was all about. And I realized something. Miss Germany had changed the idea of a woman from the woman that, is reduced to her body, her looks, and what she can offer aesthetically. And they had changed the narrative from a woman who is reduced to her looks to a woman who is a change maker. And that's what I believe I was, a change maker. So I was like, you know what? Let me do it. And I have this some people might call it arrogant, I don't know, but I have this mindset that I can do anything I put my mind to. Like, if I say I'm gonna build a house, trust me, I'm gonna build a house. So I was like, you know what, let me try this Miss Germany thing, because at the end of the day, what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen was that I don't get accepted, and then, I just see the rejection and I just move on with my life. That didn't happen. I made it, that's me at 19. And these are my girls. That's Emanuela, by the way. And I made it to the finals of Miss Germany, and I did not win. I became Vice Miss Germany 2024, but I lost something in the process. That authenticity that I had at 19, the girl that said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna help people. I'm gonna be a change maker in my own way. I lost that girl in the process because Miss Germany moved me from the girl that was just in her little university room trying to build an NGO with the idea of just helping people no matter how big or small it was. All of a sudden I had a mic, a platform, and a lot of people looking at me. And in that process, I think I lost my why. I think I lost the exact reason why I started in the first place. Now, everything moved from, wanting to help people and wanting to make a change in society to winning this competition. And I don't know at what point that happened, but I only remember that after the competition, after I did not win, I noticed that the drive that I had before, it was gone, it was lost. And I had to go back on the journey to find out my why. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this story is that I believe we all should find our why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And I think our why should always have a bigger purpose. It should always have something got to do with more than us. You know, people's whys could be like, you know, I want to have a family, I want to earn money, I want to live a happy life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I believe that we all should come together and become change makers. Because as I said before, I believe you are a change maker. I believe I am a change maker. We all have to find the thing that is worth changing for, that is worth changing in this world. And when people ask me like, okay, Adwoa, how do I find out what thing I want to change? And I always say this, find the thing that makes you angry. Like that one thing in society that really makes you angry. And for me in school, it was the fact that people saw Africa as the one-sided thing. And that's where my journey started. It made me angry. It just made me angry. I could talk about it for years and just say, oh, I just hate the way people talk about Africa, the way the media portrays Africa, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I decided to change in my school. So my question to you today, what thing do you see in society that makes you angry, that annoys you? You're like, oh, the solution is so simple. Why is it not changing? My urge to you today is change it. Become that change maker. Find something bigger than you that you want to change. And I personally, even though I do NGO work and I call myself a change maker, I don't believe that I can change the world. The goal was never to change the world. But for me, the goal was to change my world. The goal was to change the immediate world around me, the world that I can impact. Because changing the world makes the whole vision very, very hard to, bilingual, greifbar, makes the whole vision very, very hard to quantify. It makes the whole vision very hard, and it makes you scared because the world has structures, the world has problems, it just makes it all scary. So why don't you start changing your world, your community, your family, the people around you, your friend group, your school. Try and change your world. And if you want to take another step, try and change the world of someone else. Now, I want to end my speech with this quote that has made my day ever since I started doing NGO work. And it was from Emanuela. She was supposed to write an essay for a competition, and in her essay, she wrote that if a 19-year-old girl can start an NGO that changed my world, then I am sure that I can do everything I put my mind to. And that's something I hold on to every time I seem to forget my why. I hold on to that thing, the fact that even though I wasn't able to change the world, I was able to change her world and the way she sees the world and the way she has opportunities now. So I want you to go out of here today and think about the fact that whose world can you change? Because the beautiful thing about changing people's world is that when you change one person's world, you inspire them to go out and change another person's world. And maybe that way we can change the whole world in general. Thank you.